And we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new show on the Stonage channel. It is called The Final Verdict. Now, in this show, we're going to be discussing the news topics from a day, and you guys are going to be convincing me, debating with me about all things to do with this topic. And I thought there's no better place to start than probably the most domineering news topic of the last year when it comes to Liverpool. Forget doubles, forget anything to do with the way the club is being run. Jude Bellingham is definitely the most prominent news story across Liverpool in the last few years. But it's good to see people in the chat already anyway. Spencer's in the chat, Granny Dwarf and David as well. Good to see you all in and ready to rumble for what will be an hour stream this evening. So it's going to be fun. We're going to try and make this a semi-regular thing as well. So send to your friends, send to your family, hit the subscribe button and all that good stuff. So what will we be debating today? Whether Jude Bellingham will be coming to Liverpool, what he could offer Liverpool, other potential destinations he could go to, and all things like that, really. Everything under the sun to do with Jude Bellingham. We'll wait for the chat to pack up, but I want to know everyone's initial thoughts on the subject and what you think could happen with Bellingham. And how you feel it's gonna be impacted, really, because I think that alongside, you know, the whole story of Liverpool's capitulation, Jude Bellingham is definitely probably the two uttered words the most out of Liverpool fans' mouths in the last sort of 12 months. So I think it's going to be a really, really fun night. Hey, Cyan, good to see you as well. Good to see you indeed. Just gonna have a little sip. So what's everyone's initial thoughts? I want to get everyone's initial thoughts. The first initial thoughts on Jude Bellingham. And I'm hello, Robbie. Good to see you. The world's most punctual YouTuber. I'm live. I'm always live when I say I'm going live. I'm never going to go later than that. Hey, Mick as well. Initial thoughts on Jude Bellingham. Do you think he's going to come to Liverpool? Yes or no? I want the yes or no in the chat, and I'll take that as a thing. Do you think that, you know, he's likely to come? I've already said, do you think he's going to come? Do you think it'll be this summer, or do you think he'll go somewhere else? Basically, I just want yes or no's in the chat, effectively, for how you feel Jude Bellingham's going to go. Hey, Granny Dwarf, we got this. We got this, baby. We're ready to rumble. It's going to be a Bellingham stream. We're going to be talking for about an hour, guys. So we're only doing an hour stream tonight. We're going to do more sort of newsy content, because, you know, watch-alongs are great. I love watch-alongs, but I love doing these sort of discussions as well. The Liverpool chat the other night really got me intrigued into what you guys think in terms of other things, rather than listening to me waffle about it, which is fair enough, because I am a bit of a waffler. So yeah, we've got some yeses and nos already, some initial reactions. Antoman04 Weldon says yes. Mick says no. Cyan says yes. Granny Dwarf says yes. Winky face. That's a winky face. I like that. David says yes. And Robbie says under current ownership and club structure, no chance. So let's talk about the current status of Jude Bellingham and the current status of Liverpool. So I had a little chat with a few friends of mine today over at the Road End Pod, and as well as listening to their recent podcast and an update on Jude Bellingham from a built journalist. And I've become less confident, even less confident than I was, about Jude Bellingham arriving as a Liverpool player. So Jude Bellingham at the moment is vice captain of Borussia Dortmund at 19 years old. Only isn't captain when Marco Reus is playing, which is a very big rarity at the moment. So he's mostly captain of Borussia Dortmund at such a young and tender age. He's played an exceptional game at the exceptional time at the World Cup. He was one of the best players at the World Cup. Period. Not because England did particularly well. They got to the quarterfinals, fair play. But in general, he was just so totally impressive in every minute that he played in Qatar. And also, he's an English player. So you have to take those three things into account when looking at his price. Now, according to this built journalist, Jude Bellingham would be costing pretty much upwards of 140 million euros. 140 million euros. So you're looking at about 130 million pounds there. 125 to 130 million pounds, which would mean a Premier League record transfer for Liverpool to sign Jude Bellingham. And, of course, Liverpool haven't spent ridiculous amounts of money in the last few seasons and have been apparently saving for Jude Bellingham, putting their eggs in the Bellingham basket. And for me, I think it's been a wholehearted waste of time because he's, of course, hesitant. According to France 24, he's hesitant to be a Liverpool player under the current structure of the club. And why wouldn't you be hesitant to become a Liverpool player under the current structure? Look at what's going on. The Reds are in pretty much free fall after what was an unbelievable season last season. And now we're just going on our way down. And it's a frustrating. And would you want as a individual, as a we know what we're like. Most of us here will be Liverpool fans, right? But as an individual basis, and we'll talk about Mark Bellingham in a bit as well, but would you want to join a declining club? Personally, no. I definitely wouldn't. Let me know in the chat what you think. But even if it was Liverpool, like if I'm looking at my career, you might be a Liverpool fan or what have you. His father might be a Liverpool fan, what have you. Does not matter to me. I think that you have to look at your career first. And Mark Bellingham is a massive, massive influence on his son Jude's career. And do you really think, I'll say, right, to my dad, right, say he was looking at me and he's like, right, you can get a job at Manchester City and you could be paid 50 grand a year. Or you can get a job at Newport County and be paid 15 grand a year. Newport County might be on the up, and Man City might be on the way. Newport City might be on the way up, and it might be the best step for my career overall. But you're just going to take the money, aren't you? You're just going to take the money. Hello, Ball. Good to see you, mate. And there's no, as Robbie said here, the 140 million euros. What evidence have we got to suggest that FSG would go anywhere near that money? I just don't see them having the real cojones to do it, and we're going to talk about whether it's going to be relevant or not to do that, and whether we're not going to go and spend our money elsewhere on positions or bulk positions that we need potentially more. So yeah, I think the Bellingham deal is going to be a real rocky one to complete, and it will be a lot. It will be a lot of shall we say, blockages in the deal. I think blockages would be the word, and blockades to stop the deal going through. One of which is, of course, Liverpool's form. Two is the future of Jurgen Klopp. So obviously Jurgen Klopp, for me, at the moment, is Liverpool's number one attraction. Alongside, playing with some great players, Jurgen Klopp is the number one attraction. You want to be playing under one of the generation's greatest managers and greatest man managers, who's known to get the best out of any player he tutors. That's the number one attraction. What's his long-term future like? We don't know. And then what in terms of the money aspect of it, he's going to be offered far, far more if he goes to, say, Real Madrid or Manchester City. We can probably compete for just the one player, but I just don't understand why Jude Bellingham would pass up the chance to play in the Champions League in order to just play at Liverpool. I don't know, but we will be obviously discussing the pros and cons of Jude Bellingham going to Manchester City, going to Real Madrid, going to Liverpool. Liverpool's obviously the big focus on that. Boller said Jude doesn't care about the money, Chris. He wants to be loved. I mean, love is great, man. It's the best thing in the world. But at the same time, you've got to make logical decisions about your career. And if you are a top marketing professional, you wouldn't go to a startup. You'd go to an established company and get what you're worth, rather than say getting money for nothing. You go and get what you're worth because you've put in your grind over the time. Hey, Mr. MVP. Hey, Corin. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you both. And Corey and Corin. So yeah, if you're a marketing professional, if you're a plumber, you'd go to a firm which offers you the most money. And I just think that's the logical step. So yeah, and his father. So his father's a massive influence on Jude Bellingham. He's a huge influence. There has been talk, and I think it's bollocks, of Liverpool actually getting Mark Bellingham to be a scout at the club. Now, I'm not saying that Mark Bellingham isn't capable of being a scout at Liverpool Football Club. And I'm not saying that he potentially wouldn't be, shall we say, welcomed into the stratosphere, but realistically, everyone would know why he's getting that job. he wouldn't be earning that job. He would be getting it just to try and convince his son to come. People have said to signing his brother as well. You know, it's all part of a potential overall package that we have to look at. And does Jude Bellingham look at it and think, are they doing that, you know, for the betterment of my father and for the betterment of my brother, or are they doing that for the betterment of themselves? I don't know. I really don't know. But I know, Ball, we're going to be having a good debate tonight, because you are very firmly on the Bellingham inside. And you genuinely believe in that is fair enough. I really, really hope you are right. But let's have a look at our midfield options. Let's have a look at Liverpool's midfield options right now. So you've got Curtis Jones, Fabio Carvalho, Harvey Elliott, who are young, Bajcetic as well, who are young options. You've then got the older ones, Henderson, Thiago, Fabinho, James Milner, so that makes 8. Then you have, in the middle, you have Artur and Naby Keita and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. So those three players won't be there at the end of the season, so those 3 middle men are out. You then have James Milner, who is probably on his way out. Fabinho, who has fallen off. You have Jordan Henderson, who's fallen off, I'm afraid. I've seen calls today, by the way, that Jordan Henderson should be back in the team. No way should he be anywhere near that side come Monday. Not in my opinion, anyway. We should be sticking with the same midfield 3. And it's not those 3's fault that we lost both games. It was Matip and Gomez, if we're being honest. I think, and then you add in, you know, the young players. None of them are really consistent. I'd say Harvey Elliott is the best of all of them, but again, you don't know his best position. So you then got Bajcetic, who is 18 and has been carrying our midfield, if we're being real, alongside Thiago. So yeah, so at the end of this window, hey Lil Matty, good to see you. At the end of this window, we could end up having 4 midfielders: Thiago, Fabinho, Henderson, Elliott, Jones, maybe not 4, Bajcetic. That's 6. And Carvalho, I count as a forward anyway. So that's not depth enough when you've got 3 youngsters and 3 oldies. Like, what are we going to do? We have to bring in multiple midfielders. Now, there is little evidence to suggest that FSG will, even if we do sign Jude Bellingham, right? I'm going to put this to you guys in the chat. Would Liverpool be better off spending 120 million on Bellingham or 40 million on 3 new players? Now, obviously, Bellingham is the creme de la creme, the best. But you're putting all of your eggs in one basket. In one basket. That's not even guaranteed to choose you. I just feel it's very, very foolish. However much of an incredible and a brilliantly talented player that Jude Bellingham is, it would be incredibly foolish to put all of your eggs in that basket. Now, are we going to spend more than 120 million? I think so. On all of them. I think people are saying we have to get Bellingham, but then you end up with Bellingham. What if Bellingham gets injured? You've got 6 other midfielders who aren't really either old enough or capable of playing that position. I don't know. I really don't know. It's got to be, you got to. That is right. And I think what will happen, in my opinion, if we do get Bellingham, it will be Bellingham and another 40 million midfielder rather than just Bellingham. But if it was given to me as the option, we've got to have depth. We absolutely have to have depth. We absolutely have to. And strength in depth, youth in depth, and we don't have any of that. But Bol, I really appreciate your positivity, but why and how? Like, I can't, you can't back it. Matheus Nunes, you're telling me that Liverpool are going to be the only suitors for him? Liverpool are not going to be the only suitors for Matheus Nunes. Liverpool are not going to be the only suitors for Jude Bellingham. And why would he choose us? That's why I want to have this debate with you guys, because I want valid reasons from everyone as to why they would, because everyone seems so confident of the fact. But if Liverpool finish in the bottom half, which is a genuine possibility, Why would they? If Liverpool even finish in the Europa League, say Mateus Nunes gets some interest from Arsenal, which I think is very, very possible. He just seems like the sort of player that Arteta would absolutely love. They're a much more attractive prospect and are on the up. Like, you can't... Like, I hope Nunes comes. I really do. And I think he's more likely than Bellingham because of George Mendes, of course, as Lil Matty is referenced there. But if there's other clubs there. There are other clubs who are much more enticing for both players. Now, of course, Liverpool having a state-of-the-art training. Like, I'm not saying Liverpool are a bad prospect. Don't get me wrong. Liverpool are not a bad prospect to play football for. Like, we've got the AXA Training Centre, which is one of the most state-of-the-art facilities in the country. You get to play in front of Liverpool fans at Anfield, which is, absolutely built up. And like, I think that it's clearly, a club of history to play for. Someone who genuinely, like, a fan base who will get behind you no matter what. And there's evidence of that even this season. But it's still not enough to pull a player of like Jude Bellingham. I don't think. Either we managed to miraculously pull off, I would say, right, what do you guys think? Would Jude Bellingham come to us if we were in the Europa League? Because I still think that's a possibility. We can finish in the top 6 this season. I don't think we can get top 4. I do genuinely think that we can get top 4. Not top 4. I genuinely think we can get top 6. I don't think we can get top 4. So, where does he come if we are in the Europa League? Does he want to? I mean, it's Thursday nights. Thursday nights, man. They are killers. They are absolute killers. But I suppose on the other hand side, as Jurgen would like to say back in the days, on the other side, he can become this catalyst. Now, you are offered the chance to resurrect a sleeping giant. I think a lot of us do that on FM, right? A lot of us FM players. You get given the chance. You won't always go to the top, but you get given the opportunity to become the catalyst, the reason for something dying or something that's in its downward spiral to go back into its upward spiral. I think Jude Bellingham could be that for Liverpool if he chooses us, and maybe that could be an attraction for Jude Bellingham. It would be like potentially, like, say, I don't know, going to somewhere like AC Milan back in the day that have fell off, going to Barcelona, who have had financial difficulties, and people just want to play for Barcelona. It might be the same connection for Jude Bellingham to come to Liverpool. That's the only way I can really convince myself of him actually being able to come to this club, is because of the real ability for Bellingham to become the Gerrard of this team. And he's openly admitted that Steven Gerrard is his idol, and Gerrard could have left Liverpool. Obviously, he was a Scouser, born and bred, but and it's slightly different because Bellingham's taken a very different path from Birmingham to Dortmund. I don't know. I'm really I'm trying to convince myself of I'm putting my real faith in Jude Bellingham coming to us. But let's talk about Real Madrid. So Real Madrid are going to be rubbing their hands together at what's going on with Jude Bellingham at the moment. It couldn't be better. They've almost got a free run because you've got Manchester City, who are going to be in big trouble for the next few years, in my opinion, in terms of the financial situation. 115, I think it was 115 counts they've got through now, rule breaks anyway, plus Liverpool having an absolutely shocking season. It's a free run for Real Madrid if they want to go and get him, if they want to go and convince Jude Bellingham. If they want to sell their project, which is in terms of the new Real Madrid, which is signing these players young, even if they're top class like Tchouaméni, getting a midfield 3. Who wouldn't want to play with Aurelien Tchouaméni and Eduardo Camavinga? Who wouldn't? And I realistically, they can offer a real great project for Bellingham. I know Real Madrid is a massive club, but they're still going through a rebuilding phase. They'll lose Karim Benzema very soon. They've got some really exciting young players. Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo Goes, and they're really, really going at it with their young talent. Endrick is joining from Palmeiras as well. It's an opportunity for Jude Bellingham to potentially lead the biggest club in the world, and I think they would offer. They would offer him that. And there is this stuff about Mbappe and Haaland. They won't be able to get both of those in the same window and get away with it financially. You know, of course, it's a different world now to the ones where you can get Kaká and Ronaldo and Benzema in the same window. What a window. And Xabi Alonso, by the way. What a window that was. But by the way, what a shame Kaká to Real Madrid didn't really work out. But anyway, that's a completely by the by. They don't need him. But why wouldn't they? You know, and why he would completely add a new dimension to that midfield. You've got a brilliant 6 in Tchouaméni, who can also play a box-to-box. You've got Camavinga, who can do either as well. I really, really highly rate Eduardo Camavinga. And then adding him in there, that makes a perfect triad. That could emulate Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric easily. Genuinely easily could emulate those 3. And it's worrying if he does go there, to be honest. The one thing that's, for me, stopping him going to Real Madrid is that he sees it as another rung on the ladder. So it would not surprise me if Jude Bellingham at some point in his career played for Real Madrid. But maybe he thinks it's another rung on the ladder. So at the moment, you've got him. He's got for Birmingham to Dortmund. For Birmingham City starting in the Championship. Dortmund starting in the Champions League and the Bundesliga, captaining Dortmund. But never going to win anything. Like, he won the DFB Pokal once. That's it. Then you've got potentially a move to a top Premier League club. And whatever anyone says, I love my football club and I love Man United as well. But Real Madrid are the biggest club in the world. They are the biggest club in the world. Fact. And they might be the final rung for Jude Bellingham to go, right, I'm going to play there in the prime of my career. The peak. The prime. And what maybe that could then entice him to go, right, I'll go to a club like Liverpool or Manchester City or Chelsea or Manchester United even, who could all be in for him. I don't think Chelsea will because of the amount of ridiculous money they've spent. But apart from that, I think the other 3 could definitely be. Maybe he'd want to play in an Erik ten Hag system. I don't know. Pep Guardiola, I mean, I don't think he is as suited to Pep Guardiola as he is suited to Jurgen Klopp. But he's still going to be very suited to a top manager. And every top manager in the world will want a piece of him. Every top club in the world will want a piece of him. And that's reflected in his price of 140 million. Now to Manchester City. As I said, Real Madrid will be rubbing their hands together. And I think if Manchester City can wipe their hands clean of all of the charges, which I will put out there now and say is extremely unlikely, absolutely unlikely to the highest degree. I think they'll get punished this time. They have to, with the sheer volume of cases that they have. That the Bellingham, that deal, they have to wipe their hands clean of that if they are going to have a run at Bellingham. And realistically, I think with Manchester City, I think that really will put them out of the race. If that didn't happen, which could be a big stroke of luck for Liverpool, I think he might have looked across to Manchester and thought they're in a little bit of a better position than Liverpool are, and they are probably going to be rebuilding their midfield without Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan in the future. Whereas I don't think he'll go to City. I think it's that ship has sailed really. So yeah, I'm still failed to be convinced, guys. To be honest, I want to see what arguments you can put across to see why Jude Bellingham would join Liverpool. More, rather than just if just bullishly say it. Like we've got to debate this here. So Manchester United. Wow, as Robbie said, let's talk about Manchester United. They're going to have new owners soon. Potentially with Qatari Sports Investments interested, and that will make them a financial superpower. If they weren't already, they will be even further now. And again, could be able to offer their financial package, Champions League football, an opportunity to start every single game for one of the biggest clubs in the world. Very much like Liverpool can, except Liverpool won't have the Champions League football to offer. It would be a huge statement about Jude Bellingham and what his priorities are if he did join Liverpool. But it could either be the biggest success or the biggest mistake of his career. Okay? The biggest success, it could be, right, he's going to lead this new Klopp era at Liverpool. He's going to be the man to really drag Liverpool out of the shit and bring them back to where they belong. Or he will regret not joining a club with better quality players, with a further plan, with more investment, and he'll peter out. I don't think that will happen. I don't think he would not show his quality in the way that he has been. I don't know. I don't think it would play out that way. I think he's got too much character and too much leadership to do so. But nah, look. Would Jude want to join Madrid, who are obsessed with the Super League, the fans, and how they treat their players, and how he can be a legend for us or another player at Madrid? Well, he could be a legend at Madrid. Let's not forget this. He genuinely could be. He's 19 years old. Even if he plays 4 or 5 years, win the Champions League with Real Madrid, you're a legend. They might have some vitriolic fans who are stupid and dumb, as do we. But, I don't know. I think he can become a legend at Real Madrid. There's no way that it's not like Coutinho where he was sort of a flash in the pan at Barcelona and it didn't really work out for him. Bellingham's got 10 years. He's got 10 years in his prime. I wonder what his prime will be. I'm scared to see what his prime will be. It could be all time, like all time levels of midfielder. Like that's how good he is. He can do absolutely everything. Yeah, but Ball, there's been cases of managers and players. It can be a whole new ball game when the deal's presented to you and you've got 3 or 4 options that are better. They are at the moment. They will be better options than Liverpool. I'm afraid on field, they will be better. I really hope. Let me make this clear. I really hope he joins us. Genuinely. I genuinely hope and I pray that he joins us. Because I think he could be, as I said, the catalyst to really reignite Liverpool and the passion and the aggression underneath Liverpool's chin. But at the same time, you've got options there. You've got cards on the table. It's like the game of life. You got careers on the table that will earn you more money. And I don't think I would be. I don't think even with my greatest bias, I would be as attracted to Liverpool as I would be to others. And I think that it's quite a difficult one to navigate for us. But let's talk about how we'd fund it. So, right, let's say, for example, the base budget next season. I'm going off what FSG would have spent over the last few years. I'll say it's 100 million, okay? Because we are going to need money. I'll say 100 million. Okay? Maybe, I'll say 150 at a push. So 120 of that goes on Bellingham. So then you look at the wage bill. You're losing 100k a week Naby Keita, 140k a week Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, 100k a week James Milner, whatever Artur Melo's on. Bobby Firmino will hopefully take a little bit of a pay cut for when he gets a new contract, if he gets one. If not, you lose 180 grand a week off that. So that's a lot of money you're saving on wages there. Not a lot of refund on business, by the way, which is another thing I'd like to point out. So we've bought Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain for £40 million, and we're not going to receive a penny back. Naby Keita, £54 million, and we're not going to receive a penny back. Does that not scream of poor business? If we weren't planning to keep them, why were we not offloading them this summer and bringing in a younger body? Like Milner, I can understand. We bought him in for free. He'll go for free. Whether he carries on playing, whether he goes into the coaching staff, what have you, he'll go for free because he's of the age. Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain are still viable players for a Premier League club for 15, 20 million pounds. Why were we not banging that door down last summer? I just don't see it. I don't see where the business acumen is of this football club anymore. You know, we were at one point the best sellers in the world, like genuinely the best sellers. We managed to recoup every bit of our fee for Christian Benteke. We managed to recoup £15 million for Jordan Ibe, £6 million for Brad Smith, £20 million for Dom Solanke, who has gone on to have a great career at Bournemouth. But at the time, it was shocking. You know, he was pretty darn poor until he got into the Championship and he started playing well. So why have we gone from the best sellers in the world to teams who are losing 90 million on 2 players and letting them go for free? You tell me right now, there must be 5 or 6 clubs in the Premier League at least who would take Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain for 10 million last summer. 10 million. You know, that goes towards the Jude fund, right? Or any other fund. £10 million. Keep Tyler Morton around. Honestly, I'd much rather have kept Tyler Morton than given a future at the football club to Oxlade-Chamberlain and Keita. Why? What is the point? They've got no long-term future at the club. Why are they here? And they're still getting games. Both of them are getting game time. Like, the lack of foresight is ridiculous. The lack of plan. That's what really makes me doubt this whole Bellingham thing. Is that how can we sell him a dream and deliver a nightmare? Because that's what it could be. It will be filled on empty promises. Oh, you can be the next Gerrard. Well, Gerrard had some shit players around him, but he also had Xabi Alonso. He also had Torres and Mascherano. You can carry a team as much as you want. But there's no way on God's green earth that Jude Bellingham goes in with a midfield of 2 teenagers in Harvey Elliott and Bajcetic being the best options. Plus Thiago with 1 year left on his contract. You tell me. I just think it would be delusional on Bellingham's side to ignore the better options. Genuinely delusional. And almost wanting so hard to become this. I don't think we can sell him a dream, lads. I don't think we can. There's no way in which a player so logical and a player who has so much potential to be the best the world has seen in his position, or at least one of, to go in this situation and choose a club who are mediocre at the best of times, a business. Ball, mate, I just haven't heard a reasonable argument. I'm presenting logical, reasonable arguments. And no one's got a response. I mean, Matty's had some responses, but I don't know where the project is. I don't. It would worry me if he would choose Liverpool over Real Madrid, unless he's been promised something completely out of the blue, and something that's not realistic. I don't like to be Debbie Downer. I really don't. I'm usually Peter Positive, but I'm Debbie Downer right now about where this football club will go, because there's so much competition now. You've got Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, who are spending out of their minds, and they will click. Newcastle, I've got the richest owners in the world. Man United, Spurs even, who are willing to spend money. Like, I want to know. Like, I just want to know. Would you rather play with Stefan Bajcetic and a 33-year-old Thiago, or an upcoming upcoming Aurelion Tchouameni and Eduardo Camavinga, who you could potentially form a trio with. You could form a trio with for 10 years. Easily. Like, I know which one I'd be choosing as a logical fan. I understand that, Corin, but I just don't think this season is just a bad season. Like, it's going to have such a detrimental effect on the future, I feel. This is the way that it has to be. We have to improve in order to be able to attract them. Because this detrimental effect that this season will have. So, you'll see a lot of players go, which then in a knock-on effect, we'll see a lot of players come in who will take time to settle in Klopp's system. If Klopp's still here, by the way. Which I think he will be. I think we have to support Jurgen in what he does. But he still has to be under pressure, as I said in the video the other day. So it's a project that realistically, how can you sell the future of? Because no one knows what the future will look like. I don't think you can tell me what the future of Liverpool looks like. It would be to my bafflement if anyone could. Because we have no sporting director. We have no director of football. We have no technical director. But at the end of the season, our owners are leaving. Half of our squad is leaving. Like, what does the future of Liverpool look like, guys? Because I don't know. And how can you convince Jude Bellingham? How will he know? How can you say, okay, these are the players we'll recruit when you don't know who the recruitment team is? Are you giving the manager that power? Because if so, that's a real negative. Hey Jen, how we doing? That's a real negative because Jurgen Klopp is best when working with a top technical director. Like Michael Edwards, like Julian Ward even. We don't know who the recruitment team is, so how can Jude Bellingham be sold the project? It's a real mindfuck, but we have to consider it. Like, we really have to consider it. I don't know, guys. I think Bajcetic, Nunes, and Bellingham would be great. I really, really do, and I hope that's starting midfield next season. Genuinely, I just don't see it. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Please do. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. I would love Michael Edwards to come back, Jen. I really, really would. Hello, Simon. How are we doing? I really hope you're right, my man. I really hope you're right. Michael Edwards is coming back. Jen, I would love Michael Edwards to come back, but again, that's wishful thinking, really. We have to look to realism and see potentially Paul Mitchell come in. I'd love Paul Mitchell from Monaco, and it would be great. It'd be beautiful to see Paul Mitchell come in, and fingers crossed. He's the only one I think that can convince him. He's a great technical director, Paul Mitchell from Monaco, the best in the world in my opinion, or at least top 2 or 3. Him and Michael Edwards are up there. So if we can get him in, I'd be a little bit better. I feel a little bit better. He's leaving Monaco this season. Maybe. Hey, Millie. Hey, Colin. Hey, everyone. Hey, Liam as well. Is Bellingham coming to us? Well, that's what we're debating today on the Stonage channel. Make sure you subscribe. As a lifelong Liverpool Reds fan, it pains me to say, but if we don't get top 4 this season, Bellingham will not be coming to Anfield in the summer. That's partly what I've been saying, Colin, right? Because why would Bellingham, as a guy with a head screwed on, reject possibly the best opportunity to play for someone else, aka Real Madrid, to then join a club who are not even playing European football? The thing is, Millie, I understand where you're coming from there, but he can have a legacy at Real Madrid. They're the biggest club in the world at the end of the day. They are the biggest club in the world. And I understand that we are Liverpool. I get it. But they are Real Madrid. They're Manchester United. They're Manchester City. You know? They're big clubs, lads. And we can't have an arrogance to think that just because we're Liverpool, we're better. I don't know. If Bellingham is signing, surely the club has promised other signings. I hope so, but then, damn it, we can't promise that because we don't know who the recruitment team's going to be. The club's in disarray. They don't know who the owners are going to be. We don't know who the owners of the football club is going to be. So how does anyone get convinced of a project when they see owners, sporting directors, and playing staff, coaches behind the scenes potentially having more influence than wants to be said, and think, oh yeah, that's a reliable project. That's a reliable project. I don't know. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please do. As well, we're trying to get to 1,000 as soon as we can, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. It'd be really, really helpful, and it'll be so much more content. I've got a really, by the way, just a quick side note. I've got a really, really fun video coming out on Saturday, maybe Sunday. It's going behind the scenes at a non-league football club. So I'm going to Newport City, and we're going to have some great fun and great times going behind the scenes there. So make sure you hit the subscribe button for that. Talking to managers, talking to players, going in the dressing room, that sort of shit. Anyway, Lord Craig has foretold this. This is my words. Well, this brings me on to my next point. I trust Craig with my heart and anything. I really, really do. I really, really like him as a bloke. I love him, in fact. Just one of the greatest humans you'll meet. And he's funny as fuck. But the one thing I don't agree with him on is Jude Bellingham. The one thing I don't agree with him on is Jude Bellingham, because I understand he may have a contact and he may know something here. But, lads, I don't know how we can logically break down the fact that he will be coming to Liverpool, apart from the he loves Liverpool argument. But I just think there's no, that wouldn't be a logical step for a logical player. Hey John, good to see you. An Arsenal fan from Ireland. Well, you'll be happy because I think I won't be doing an Arsenal watch along this weekend, but I'll be doing some other stuff. Which Arsenal player would I take on my team? A lot of them, mate. But if I had the choice right now, Martin Odegaard would be my choice. Hello Taron, how are we doing? Give us some good reasons apart from the money. Champions League football bowl. Champions League football, money, as we've said. Logic in his career, a logical step. Potentially a better sold project, a better club, well organised. That would be my reasons. I think those are pretty damning reasons, really. Mostly the off-field stuff. Because how can you look at Liverpool at the moment and say that they're in sort of good shape? Because we're not. We're not in good shape at the moment. We are in total disarray. Yes, Robbie. maybe. Yeah, I don't know how Jude Bellingham, from the outside in anyway. So you're getting Pep Linders getting accused of being overarching. You've got Andreas Kornmeier, who's a fitness coach, getting accused of being hard to work with. You've got Jurgen Klopp, whose future's in doubt. If we're being real, his future's in doubt. You've got no sporting director. You've got no technical director for next season. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen with the owners. I don't know. There's many a reason. Thank you very much, Taron. Good to see you. Well, ironic Arsenal. I really want Arsenal to win the league. That's my it might be a controversial opinion, but I want Arsenal to win the league because I'm fed up of Manchester City, and I think they probably will lose it. Do I actually think we'll get Jude? No, not really, KSA man. No, I don't. It's wishful thinking. I'd love it. Don't get me wrong. He would be perfect for Liverpool Football Club right now. He would be absolutely perfect. He would be the numero uno, most the perfect, most brilliant player to have in our football club right now. But it ain't happening. It ain't happening. And the thing is, people say BVB played with him in the Europa League. Yes, they did. but it's a different stage in his career. His next move has to be the right move for his career. We have to forget, right? Jude Bellingham, starting at Birmingham City, 15 years old, making his debut, scored his first goal at the same age as well. Came through, he had the choice of literally any club he wanted to. Any club. Manchester United offered him a lot more money, Liverpool. You know, he could have gone anywhere. He chose the best place for his development at 17 years old. £25 million he cost Borussia Dortmund. They're going to quintuple that money. And he's going to be a Premier League player, I think. I hope, with Liverpool. That might be the logical next step, purely because it is a massive club. And I'm trying to convince myself here. I'm really, really trying to convince myself. Liverpool are a massive club. They might be the logical next step because they're the step up from Dortmund in terms of club size. But they're not really performing at the right level. So he can showcase how good he is by playing well at Liverpool to then get a move potentially on to Real Madrid, to Barcelona. If they've got the money back by then. Probably Real Madrid. So the rumoured fee, KSA man, £150 million. It's a bit more like 150 million euros. So we're talking about 125, 130 million pounds. So it will be a British record transfer, a British record transfer, and we've got Fenway Sports Group in charge. I don't know. I really hope so. Anyway, great to see so many people in. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please do. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as we can. We've got so much great content coming for you. And look, I totally respect everyone who says he wants to join us and they'll have the last laugh, what have you. I really hope you're right. I will be laughing with you. I'll be loving everything. I will love life. And I want everyone to come back to this video and comment, ha 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 ha. You're wrong, Chris. You're stupid. You're dumb. I want that. I want it. Please. I really, really want it. Come back to this video in 6 months if Jude Bellingham signs to Liverpool and troll the fuck out of me. Please. Because I deserve it if that's the case. But at the end of the day, we are in a position where, in my opinion, we are not the front runners anymore because of what we can offer. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Really appreciate it. How do you think Liverpool's rebuild will look like if they invest a major chunk in Bellingham? You guys need a new back four. I wouldn't say we need a new back four. I'd say we need a backup right back because Calvin Ramsey's too young at the moment. I think it's going to be potentially a left back if one of Robertson and Tsimikas leaves. I don't know whether that would happen. Joe Gomez isn't good enough anymore. He's good to be a fifth choice, but not a fourth choice. I don't think anymore. He's too inconsistent. Joel Matip's getting old and isn't good enough. The future is Van Dijk and Konate for the next 2 or 3 years, and then we need another centre half. Trent Alexander-Arnold has 2 years left on his contract. I'm not too sure how long he'll have left. If he goes and demands a ridiculous amount of money, which I don't think he will, but part of me thinks he might go and say, right, I want 300 grand a week. And I know he's a local lad and everything. I understand he's a local lad, but he wouldn't be worth that on his performances. He really, really wouldn't be. And that's just me being real. If Alexander-Arnold came to me and said, look, well, he's on 180 grand a week now, and he's got 2 years left on his deal. He'll probably look to be signing a new one in the next year. I'd be saying max 250. Absolutely max. And then you have players who'll come to you saying, well, realistically, he hasn't been playing that well. So what are you going to give me? That's it. Hey, Jude, we cannot wait. I really hope so, Jen. I really hope so. Yeah. Well, it is some good news for Liverpool today, though. It is some good news that Jota, Firmino are back in training, as well as Artur Melo as well. So 3 players back inside, and that strengthens our bench, which is helpful. Really, really helpful. Colin said Joe Gomez has never been good enough. I disagree. I think he was very, very good in our title-winning season and the season prior to that. So yeah, this show is called The Final Verdict. So I will come to my verdict at the end of this show, but I will be putting a poll in the chat to see whether you guys think that Jude Bellingham will be going to Liverpool. So I'll be putting that in the next 5 minutes. We'll see how long we can go for, and see how long you guys want me to go for. Klopp smiling today. He knows he's safe. I hope so. 250k is generous for a mop, says Liam. Oh, mate. Look, I love Trent. I couldn't love the lad more. In terms of the places he's come from, the real grit he's had to go through, the difficult stuff that he's had to deal with in his career so far, and he's fought through it. This season, though, I just don't think he'd be worth giving a bumper new contract to. Do I regret not buying Enzo Fernandez? I'd have loved Enzo Fernandez, but not for the price. Not for the price. He's an unbelievable talent. I just wish that we looked at him in the summer rather than now from River Plate. James has said, sadly, I can't see Bellingham coming now. FSG out and out. Yeah, well, the thing is, Liverpool recorded the 3rd highest profits in the world from Football Club. And were very nearly the top of the Deloitte Money League. The only reason they weren't was because Manchester City... the only reason they weren't in the top 3 is because Manchester City were in there and they've been fiddling and cooking their books. So, at the end of the day, they've been cooking their books. They're on top of the Deloitte Money League for that reason. So, Liverpool have got the funds there. We can't deny. I know we've spent the money on the training centre. I know we're building the Anfield Road stand. But that doesn't mean we can't invest on the pitch as well as slightly off it. Hey, Timeless Sport. So that is the Timeless Podcast. Go see Timeless Sport as well. Alex is going to be doing some great stuff over there. Trent is not a defender though, Chris. He's great going forward, but his positional awareness in defence is so poor. I do think he is. I think he's improved that side of his game. If I'm being honest, I think this season he has improved that side of his game. But going forward, it's sort of regressed because of it. It's because of the system we're playing him in. It's high risk, high reward. Either we change the system or we, keep him as he is. And to be honest, if you've got to play like Kanate by the side of him, it's usually all right. I think there's got to be tweaks in the system really, and that's where Liverpool have to go and change that, and that's down to Jurgen Klopp and his staff. The FSG are going nowhere now with the Super League on the cards. By the way, if you haven't checked out my Super League video earlier, I did a video on the Super League, just going through the manifesto when it comes to the CEO and what he has said. And I'm going to get some slander for this. It's a good idea. It might be a good idea. And being real... if, say, the Carabao Cup is scrapped, which would be a shame because I love the Carabao Cup, but you've got 14 games there. You scrap the shitty Champions League, right? The new Champions League format. People don't know that the Champions League format is going to go to a league, right? You scrap that shit. The clubs run it. Okay, 14 games a season, every club, at least. I think that's fine. As long as it's not a closed-off tournament, and it's based off how teams do in their league, I'm more down for that than I am for the new reformed Champions League. In my opinion, anyway. Bellingham, where he go, to Real Madrid or Liverpool? I think that I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Actually, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. We're gonna do a poll. Bellingham destination. Make sure you get your vote in. Liverpool. Elsewhere. There we go. That's the question in the poll in the chat. Vote in the chat now. Where will Jude Bellingham go? Liverpool or elsewhere? Get your votes in, and that will be the final verdict for tonight. You better be subscribed on that channel, Alex. Liverpool or elsewhere? We'll wait till it gets to 30 votes, and that will be the final verdict. Maybe 40 if we're being good. But get your vote in now to be counted. Get on it. Get on it. It's been a great stream, though, guys. I'm going to do loads more of these. Talking about different subjects, talking about different subjects across football, not just Liverpool-based. But yeah, my final verdict myself is that he doesn't come to Liverpool. However, it seems like your guys' verdict is that he is going to Liverpool. So we can beg, we can hope, we can pray. But yeah, I hope. We're gonna do a little bit more chatting now elsewhere. Any more? Get your votes in. I'm gonna shut it in about 30 seconds. So get your votes in now for the final verdict. What do I think about Oxlade-Chamberlain? I think he's absolutely finished, John. I like the bloke. He's a great man. Really, really nice guy. But no. No longer of any use. And there you go. We're going to end the poll there. So, 63% of you believe that Jude Bellingham will be a Liverpool player this summer. Now, that is the final verdict. And there we go. That's what you think. And fair enough. I really, really hope that you guys are bang on. And I'm hoping and praying. And I want you guys to mark down this video and mark down this stream and say, Chris, and come back to this stream and find me. And if he does come, right, tell me and find me, message me on Twitter, on Instagram, on everywhere. Comment on all my posts. Troll me, please. Because I just can't see it. I can't see it. And I really, really hope that you remember this. And if it doesn't happen, then I don't know. I really hope so too. I really, really hope so too. I won't be live tomorrow, but just to inform all of you guys that are in the chat right now, on Sunday, it's going to be an absolutely bumper day on the Stonish channel. So 3 watch-alongs across the sports. So on Sunday, I'll be doing Leeds United against Manchester United on at 2 o'clock. The 2 o'clock kickoff. Then I'll be doing the Manchester City versus Aston Villa game at 4:30, and then it's the big one. It's the Super Bowl, the NFL final. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a fun old long day. And then I'll also be doing the Merseyside derby come Monday as well. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please do. I'm not live on Saturday. I'm down at Newport City, but I will be putting together a video behind the scenes at a non-league football club. So make sure you hit that like button for that. Subscribe. Yeah, it's been a real great stream. Thank you so much for everyone for interacting. Make sure you share the channel with your friends. Hit that subscribe button. Get us to 1,000 as soon as we can. And I'll be back with another final verdict very, very soon. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.